You are now locked into the Live with Brandon Blakney podcast. Here is your host, Brandon Blakney.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Live with Brandon Blakney. Just want to say shout out to everybody that's been supporting, showing love, man. We've been bringing bangers and dope guests pretty much every week, man. Just everything sports related in the triad and beyond. So happy to have Jamie Shaw, my guy Rob Bridges as well. Two dudes that if you know anything about hoops in NC, man, you know these two guys already. Fellas, man, I appreciate y'all for one, what y'all do, and two, for hopping on the podcast tonight, man.
Yeah, man. No, I appreciate it too. It's great. I agree with you, Rod's utmost respect for everything that he does and what he's brought to the state and all the promotion and stuff. And shout out to what he did for the seniors last week too, man. That was a heck of a thing. And to bring that together is something the state needed sorely, man. It sounded like I wasn't able to attend, but it sounded like it went off splendidly and everything too. So shout out to Rod for that too. And Brandon, thank you so much for the platform and coming on and all that stuff, man. Anytime you ask, I always try to make room for it. So I appreciate it. And I can't be more hyped to see your blow up as well, man. What you've done in these last 3 years, your grind is inspirational.
Wow. No, but that was tough. That was a tough act to follow right there. But no, first and foremost, Brandon, thank you for having me on, man. It's definitely a pleasure, man. I've had the pleasure of catching a couple of your episodes, and like I said, like Jamie said, I really appreciate the grind and everything that you got going right now. And then Jamie, man, you know, we talk all the time, man. Your grind is undefeated in the state right now. So I definitely, for you to think that way about me, it's likewise. So I definitely appreciate that, man.
Big time, fellas. And before we even hopped on, man, some breaking news happened. So we'd be remiss not to dive in. Big Hoopstate news. Wes Miller is out of here, headed to Cincinnati. Initial thoughts, fellas, just, what's going on?
Go ahead, Rod.
For me, it's a great move for Wes because, obviously, we thought he was going to be in the mix for the Carolina job, and he was. But I think this job at Cincinnati is a good stepping stone for him and for the next 3 to 5 years to kind of see if he can prove himself on a quote unquote a bigger level. So I think for Wes, that's a good thing. Cincinnati, they definitely needed a new fresh face in the program. I know Brandon was just there for a couple of years, but just the way that program had was going on over the last couple of years, that they needed a new direction. I think Wes is the guy to switch it up for him and give them new life.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think Wes is an absolute he's a rock star, man. He's going to be a superstar in the industry for years and years to come, man. What he did with that UNC Greensboro program, making them a nationally relevant program. I mean, heck, for time there was conversation, are they a top 4 team in the state? And Isaiah Miller, in conversation for the, top point guard in the state and all this type of stuff too. Not saying that they are, but they're in the conversation. And Wes Miller built that because 10 years ago, 15 years ago, wasn't necessarily the case. Him going to a job, he's been rumored for job after job after job over these last 5 years. And to see him land at Cincinnati, they got tradition, they got history, they got a fertile recruiting ground. I just can't wait to see. I just texted him earlier. I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to get me some of them Cincinnati shorts, man.
Thanks.
Most definitely, man. Going to that league where it's definitely gonna be more than one bid. The Houstons, the Wichita States of the world. What do y'all think this leaves for UNCG? I feel like just based on the triad out of
Andre Gray,
Wake Forest.
Thanks.
Period. Look no further.
He's right there.
Our conversation starts and ends with Andre Gray.
Yep.
Why is he the right guy for this job? For the people watching,
nobody knows the state of North Carolina better than Gray. Nobody has better relationships than Gray. Nobody's earned an opportunity more so than Gray for that job. He's paid his dues. He's been with programs as they've succeeded at a high level, and he's continued to be there. He's continued to get players. He's continued to succeed. And like I said, there are very few people within a state, whether it be North Carolina, Virginia, whether it be North Dakota, wherever it is, there are very few people who can walk into any gym in the state that they reside in and be greeted with hugs and happiness and all that type of stuff. And Andre Gray is one of those people in the state of North Carolina who can walk into any gym, AAU-wise or high school-wise, and at least talk to the kid and have an opportunity to get the kid. And I just think that the conversation starts and ends with Gray, and nobody else needs to be interviewed, and nobody else needs to even be brought up for it.
That is facts. Just to piggyback off that, honestly, you know, he like Jamie said, he's earned his due. He's earned it. For me, I just think if you put Dre in that spot, you don't have a drop off with UNCG. Like you keep it rolling, you keep those guys there, you keep everybody happy. Because I think if you go outside of that, I think you could find where it might be an exodus of sorts. I'm not saying anything's gonna happen, but I think Dre's got to be the guy there, man. You know, like Jamie said, man, he's one of the greatest people in the state. Just having him is like kind of like a mentor to me, just where I can just call him and talk to him about anything in life, not even basketball, but it's to talk to him about life in general. Like he can just give me the best advice. So a guy I'm 1,000%. I'm all in on Dre Gray, man.
Mm-hmm. Me too. Me too.
Yeah, no doubt. And those guys obviously love playing for Coach Dre. And my thing, too, I wanted to ask y'all, with that roster, speaking of, you got John Newman, of course, made some waves coming there. Still got Derico Williams, Langley Twins, and those guys. Is this the most talented roster out of the Triad colleges, in y'all's opinion, coming back?
Well, we got to see who West takes with him.
Oof. That's true.
That's fair.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know about. I don't know. That's kind of tough. I mean, that Wake Forest roster, they're shaping up to be pretty decent. But I mean, if I was a betting man, I'd probably say UNCG's probably got for now.
Yeah, I mean, it's. We can't dismiss what John Michael Wright did over at High Point this year. We can't dismiss, what Carter Witt could end up being at Wake Forest. Elon's in the 3-3-6, right?
Yep.
That they've had a couple pretty good years in a row here. Shragi's going to do things well there. But I just think for the culture, for the city, man, we need to have that Greensboro Elon matchup every year and rock with that. Everything, the public versus the private, the 3-3-6 area and all that type of stuff too. I think that would be a great matchup all the way around. But I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say that, Greensboro's roster is better than Wake Forest roster or anything like that. I think that'd be a dang good game that I would like to watch.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, and shout out to Coach Jones as well. Won the MEAC regular season.
That's right. Will Jones, he's a South Carolina guy too, so he's going to represent.
Yeah.
Come on now. Come on now.
No, respect, man. And I know we've been touching on Wake Forest a little bit. Lucas Taylor just got down there. Carter Witt. And I know you've been speaking on that too, Rod, a lot. Carter Witt comes in, day one, gets handed the keys, no offseason, no nothing. What could this team look like next year with Lucas Taylor spreading the floor, Davian Williamson another year with Carter Witt, and, these guys coming in?
I'll say this. I don't think they'll be at the bottom of the ACC next year. I will say that. Because, just like you alluded to, Carter came in literally in practice for, a week, 2 weeks, and he played in the game. He had literally no college all season. We talk about kids getting only a couple of months, but Carter Witt didn't even get a couple of weeks. So I think for him getting this quote unquote free year, for him to learn what the rigors of the ACC are going to bring for him in terms of what he needs to do to get better and improve. So now you give him a full off season to get weight training, agility, speed, learning the game, and things like that. With him and Davey in that backcourt next year, man, I think they're going to be electric. Be interesting to see if some of those guys take the extra year. What's his name? Musius, is that his name? Isaiah
Musius, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see if he takes his year. Lucas is going to be an interesting piece of Wake Forest. He's going to be that kind of 3-and-D wing. He's a capable shooter. Lucas is a really good on-ball defender. A lot of people don't give him credit for it, but Lucas could really guard the ball. And I think for him, that's going to be what's going to get him on the court early at Wake Forest. So.
Yeah, watch out for Cam Hildreth they have coming in, the freshman. He's a European player, but the staff is really, really high on him, 6'5" guard and all that type of stuff. They were really, really excited about him coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Most definitely. And I think a lot of those guys that were kind of underrated, they've really made strides at Wake. They're going through some growing pains right now, but I definitely think Coach Forbes and them guys are turning around.
Well, anytime that you have a new change or a new coaching change, there's a reason why the old coach left. The team wasn't very good. So what the new coach is tasked with is coming in and revamping the roster, making it fit him, who that coach is, because there's a reason why that guy was hired because of his success, and the previous guy was fired because they weren't good. So
right.
it always takes time, and in a a now world, feed me now world, you got to realize it takes time, especially in the ACC, to get your players in, because Forbes is a fiery, gritty guy. To get his guys in, it's going to take a little bit of time. That wasn't necessarily on the roster previously.
Yeah, you got to practice a little patience with that, especially in an ACC school. Also, too, a school like Wake Forest, where it's a little tougher to get kids in Wake Forest as it is in other schools. So you got to be selective on the guys that you bring in as well, too. So I think that I'd say give them 2 or 3 years, man, at least to kind of at least. So we'll see. I got faith in Forbes as well, too.
And they got 2 South Carolina guys on the staff too.
Here you go.
So it's only a matter of time before they start winning.
Here you go.
It's only a matter of time before they start winning.
Hey, definitely got the athletes coming in next year. Looking at the other big 4, I told you we got to mention. What do you guys think about some of these new additions coming in? I really, really, really love that Greg Gant is at NC State.
Go ahead, Rod.
No, I definitely love that as well. Greg is that prototypical wing that NC State needs that can guard multiple positions. He can do a little bit of everything for them. I think obviously it didn't work out in Providence for him, but he dealt with a lot at Providence in his last 2 years as well too. Losing his mom and things like that. But I think him coming back home and more of being more comfortable, things like that. I love it, man. I think Keeks is going to maximize Greg and get the most out of him.
Yeah, I think the 2 guys that he brought in, both Morcell and Gant, really fit what Keats likes to do with that just tough defense. They're going to get after it. And also Gant adds, I guess, some versatility there, that position, kind of that 3-4 position that he has, added with Jericho Helms coming back, and added, kind of that depth that he has there, Darion Sebron as well. You can kind of interchangeably go because they all bring something different. Helm shot, 38% or so this year. Sebron's more of a passing guy. Greg Gant's a rugged, just tough defender. Always has been since 8th grade on varsity. Yeah. Morcell, the same thing at the guard position. Morcell and Shaq Moore on the floor together. I couldn't imagine what that would be like, trying to bring that ball up the floor for anybody. Now, I don't know what you're going to get on the offensive end, but bringing it up on the defense, man, I can imagine what that's going to be like.
Absolutely.
And then you add Cam Hayes' shooting in there and stuff. This team's kind of coming, and then forget about Manny Bates, who's probably the best defensive center possibly in the country, at least the ACC. Yeah. So they're going to be really good defensively. It'll be interesting to see what he's able to get out of them offensively with that. But he's making himself an identity, and if you're a head coach, that's what you want to have as an identity. And he's building himself an identity with this program that he has.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited to see them a little bit further down the road. I know Carolina and Duke have both been in the headlines. Coach Davis coming in, taking over their helm at Carolina. They've lost some guys, brought some guys back. I was actually surprised that Caleb Love came back. It made a lot of sense, but I'm not sure everybody was expecting that.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. After the season, the first thing, a lot of people said it was going to be a mass exodus at Carolina. And, wasn't as bad as he initially thought. Losing Walker Kessler was a huge blow to Carolina because he was going to be a starter next year. He was like all ACC, All-American potential tonight. Everything was running through Kessler. And for him to leave, that was a tough blow to Carolina. So they're kind of in a jam right now as well, too. And I know Jamie will talk about it here as well. But, Baycott's gone, put his name in the draft, but they expect him to come back. Brooks is in the portal. Daron's gone. Kessler's gone. You don't really have any size there. Now, all that size. Oh, and Manley as well. So all that size that you had, the problem that you had now is another problem now. So it's kind of interesting to see what's going to happen there. I know they missed on Jonas, if that's what we're going to call it. I'm going
to let you talk all about Jonas on this one. I ain't going to say a word.
I'm not going to get into that.
I'm going to let you be the one talking all about
it. I'll just say this. I think Carolina fans, they're passionate. I was a Carolina fan all my life. It kind of changed over the years when I started learning a lot of guys going to college. It was hard for me to be a fan of one team, but still love Carolina. But one thing I say about that fan base, they're just like any other fan base. Like, they overreact and they make assumptions and things of that nature. And even Jamie, I know you saw things people were saying about Jonas and why he didn't get a Carolina offer. Why?
Well, two things I can guarantee you.
Yes.
First thing is he is absolutely academically qualified for college.
Yes.
The second thing is that he did not graduate from some bogus school or anything like that.
Absolutely.
Those two things. Now, everything else, did Hubert think he was good enough? Did they pass on him? All that other conversation, we'll leave that to whatever the case. Two things I can guarantee you. He absolutely was qualified to get into college, and he absolutely did not graduate from a bogus whatever program. So,
yeah. And it hurt because people were taking shots at like his character, like what type of kid he is. And like we all know Jonas. Jonas is the best kid you probably ever meet in the world. Like you would never know he's a top 35 player in the country when you talk to him.
Might be higher.
Yeah, that's what I heard. But you know, I was gonna let that
your rivals, boys.
I heard another star maybe become inside his name, but you know, that's your news to break. So, but no, Jonas is a great kid, and I think he's gonna do well at Tennessee. I mean, like we talked about as well the comparisons: Miles Turner, LaMarcus Aldridge. I mean, Rick Barnes does well with big, so I think for him, that's a great fit.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. And I agree with you fully. I mean, it's a great fit. It's the fit that made sense most, especially after Justin Gainey got on staff there. You know, after that, it just was like, well, why would you entertain anything else? You know, so it'll be interesting too, because they're supposed to get a huge commitment tomorrow from a 5-star as well. So, you know, they're gonna have a huge class coming in this year. Okay. Tennessee is so. It'll be, you know, they were top 5 last year. I think we had them number 6 at Rivals. I think they're gonna be number 6. They should be top 5 again this year too. After this 5-star comes in, and we'll see what happens with Jonas with the rankings too. So,
well, let me go look at these rankings and see who this 5. See if I can.
Hey, the news gonna be broke by the time this there anyway. But that's awesome.
Will it be? This is gonna be after tomorrow.
Oh yeah. This
Huntley Hatfield's committing tomorrow.
Oh, he's going up back to 21.
Going to 21.
Wow. Yeah. I thought it was who you were gonna say, but I didn't know he was going back up.
Yeah. So he'll be committing tomorrow. He should be going up. So, but yeah, I guess back to Carolina. The thing about it is, sir, they lost a lot of size. But the thing about it is, the size was where their talent was last year. Like their guards and wings just weren't performing, and they're all back. So that's got to be the scary thing. That you know, even if Baycott goes, you know, but that's the thing too. Thinking about Baycott leaving, like, why would he come back? I mean, this is almost one of them things where it's like almost a setup. It's like, you know, what more could you accomplish? You know, what more could you show than what you've already shown? Because he was at times really dang on good last year. You know, you come back this year, you know, you're going to be the only guy. You're not going to have any help. You know, who knows? I mean, the guards, they were inefficient this year. The wings were sporadic making shots. You're going to be the only big there. You know, there's a very real chance where it's like, you know, maybe I'd take a G League contract, or maybe I'd try to get drafted in the second round or go overseas or something. Instead of, you know, coming back and just, you know, have the possibility, not saying it'll happen, the possibility of completely just murdering my stock. You know, so yeah, and that's a very real thing. I know he's been working out with Jaden Springer a lot and, you know, doing all that. So, you know, it's a very real thing that he may not come back. You know, as for who UNC's going after, I mean, the big from Creighton, Brady Manick, the brothers from Eastern Washington and all that type of stuff. I don't know what that does for your team or program. I don't know if those are the guys that you need. The guard play needs to step up for them in a big way. The shot making ability, shot creation ability needs to step up for them in a big way. And we'll see what the roster ends up looking like. I mean, I think they got their staff pretty well settled on. I think they're just finalizing the contracts and stuff there. And you know, that's another question, you know.
What's up, everybody? I appreciate y'all sticking around. Part 2. We had to get that commercial break. Shout out to our sponsors. Still joined by Jamie Shaw, Absolute Basketball, as well as Rivals. Rob Bridgers holding it down for the Hoopstate Network, man. And just two dudes that are doing it, man, killing the game, getting all kinds of content out there, man. So definitely give my guys a follow, and we'll get y'all social media handles for sure after the show. Just breaking back in, I know you guys both had busy weekends. Rob, y'all had not only y'all's event going on, but the Phenom stuff. Jamie, I know you were down there at the Elite 16, seeing some of the Southeast best on top of the nation's best. So just wanted to get a recap, you know, the weekend, the atmosphere, and how y'all think everything went.
Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, so we in Rock Hill, you know, the Phenom had their Queen City Showcase event. What we wanted to do was we wanted to throw an all-star game for the class of 2021 just because, you know, a lot of those guys went through a tough year here this last year. They played majority of the season without fans and things of that nature. So what we wanted to do was just kind of send those guys off the right way. So in doing that, you know, we had another idea. It was like, well, hey, we just can't limit it to just the guys that everybody knows and love that we see every week on everything. Let's figure out a way to get these other guys seeing and college coaches out there. So that's what we came up with the unsigned senior game. So we came up with the top 20 seniors that we thought were unsigned and that wanted to play. And we put on the event there Friday night. For me, that was probably more fulfilling than the All-Star game because after the game, you just saw so many coaches from all D2s, D3s, JUCOs, NAIA just on the court talking to these guys, giving these guys opportunity. And for me, that's what it's all about, just giving guys an opportunity to be seen. There were some guys who chose not to take the opportunity. More power to them, best luck to them. But for the kids that were there, they were very appreciative, and that was fulfilling for me. And then Saturday night was just kind of like that All-Star Saturday night where we just wanted to put on a good show for the people and send those guys off. For me, the 2021 class has been really special because they've been a huge part of what we've done at Hoopstate. A lot of those guys like Bobby, Traquavion, Breon, Dontrez, and the list goes on. Like, they've always been willing and able to do anything that we've asked them to do. And, we just wanted to show our appreciation and gratitude to that class, so it's a great weekend.
That's good. Yeah, no, I was down at on the radar Sweet 16 down there. This may have been outside of a circuit level event or whatever, one of the most talented events I've ever been to. There was nothing short of probably 20, 25 shoe circuit teams just in the 17U division down there. Everything from Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, checking all the boxes and stuff. It was unbelievable. It's almost this is really the first kind of summer I've been out unaffiliated running an event and stuff. So I'm actually able to get out and watch kind of all the players and stuff. And oh my God, I forgot how overwhelming that is to walk into a gym and have like 13 courts going with hundreds of kids that you need to see, and hearing oohs and ahs over here on this court, but focusing on this court. And, it's just it was good to be back in that situation again. But it was awesome. I guess the how they do their events and showcase games, they don't have any type of championship or bracket play like a lot of people do. So it's just 4 showcase games, 1 Friday, 2 Saturday, 1 Sunday, or some variation of how to get to 4. And Team Curry was down there from North Carolina. Upper Stars was down there from South Carolina. And they had a whole bunch of other teams from Georgia, like the Celtics, Game Elite, Florida, Each One Teach One, Southeast Elite. They had New Orleans Elite. Randy Livingston's team out of Louisiana was down there. Let's see, some teams from Alabama, DC, Maryland. So it was just all B. Mays was down there out of Tennessee. So it was just a ton of teams that were playing. For me, probably the breakout player that was familiar here would have been 2 guys. Noah Clowney out of Dorman High School in South Carolina, and then MJ Collins out of Westminster Catawba, a shooting guard. He's just 6'4" shooting guard. I've probably said for the past 6 to 8 months he's the best shooting guard in the state in that class in 2022. Don't be surprised to see him have some high major stuff start coming through the pipeline pretty soon. I believe he got Charleston Southern and maybe Appalachian State after this weekend. He previously had gotten Murray State a week or so ago, and the interest I have a feeling is going to get going because he does one of the most valuable things in basketball, and that's make shots. He's a shot maker, right. To the extreme. He's good size, athleticism, and all that type of stuff too. So don't be surprised to see that get going. And then Noah Clowney, he's probably going to break into our top 100 the next go around that we have for 2022 class. He after this event, he picked up Georgia Tech, Clemson, and one other one. But don't expect to see him. He's a 6'10" big man, about 6'10", 200 pounds, super athletic, moves his feet incredibly well, and does all that stuff too. The best player I saw there, the most dominant I saw, was a guy named Sean Phillips. He played with Yipsy Prep last year. Imani Bates' team out there. He's 6'10", 260. Just a throwback big. He looked like a Neon Badeau and drop stepping and just dunking on dudes. It was crazy. He was going up against like 4-star centers in the game, and he was just putting a shoulder in the chest and just going up and dunking on him and like standing over him like Sean Kemp, and it was a blast to watch. I can't wait to see this kid play again. He was playing with the Georgia Stars this past weekend, but I can't wait to watch this kid play again. It was I think we had him at 61 to 65 or somewhere around there right now, and there will probably be a bump. Looking toward the future, I'm not necessarily what his NBA stock looks like, just because 20 years ago he'd probably been like top 5 player in the country, but the way that today's game is now, switching and playing in drop coverage and protecting the rim and shooting and all that type of stuff. He doesn't do any of that. But you get him 10 feet within the basket and rebounding and all that stuff. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Absolutely, man. I'm a fan of Clowney too, seeing him at a couple top 80s. And he's grown some, he's not really a tweener no more. He's grown a couple inches, true big. Like you said, moves well, runs the floor like a giraffe. And I know another guy, too, that you've been big on, James, that I know you've seen too, Rod. Even we saw last summer a couple times. It's Julian Phillips with Upward.
Yeah. Yeah, Julian, it's amazing, too, because like I said, in that event, you had the Brandon Huntley Hatfields of the world and Sean Phillips, Noah Clowney. I mean, there were bigs all over the place. Everywhere you looked, I mean, shoe companies all have bigs and stuff. Julian Phillips was probably the best rebounder in the entire event. The guy's ability on the offensive glass, I mean, his leaping ability and instincts for the ball is off the charts, but his second jump is also off the charts, too, almost like Anton Jameson a little bit. And how he did that. Just a nose for the ball. He can break his man down off the bounce and do all that. I'd like to see him get his jump shot short up a little bit. And I keep telling him, I keep telling him, get your jump shot down. He's working on it. It comes out looking good. And he's not afraid to take them now. Now it's just a matter of getting a little more arc on it and consistent with it. But I honestly feel that if he gets that jump shot down, there's a chance he's like a first round draft pick type of guy in there. I think we got him at 29 right now. There's a chance he makes a little bit of a jump coming up again too. And and the thing about him too is just like Noah Clowney, just like all these guys, is an unbelievable kid. Like the kid is just all he wants to do is just work. He don't care about extracurriculars. He don't even care about recruiting. It's like, I just got off the phone with Ohio State, it was whatever. I'm like, it's like usually you see people all over social media and stuff with that. It's like, no, the kid's just a humble.
Blessed to receive a call.
He just wants to get in the gym and work. He's an unbelievable kid.
And anything to add, Rod? I know you've seen Julian as well a bunch of times.
Oh, yeah, man. Julian is tough. I got a chance to see him last year in the Spartanburg event. He's just smooth, man, just getting to his spots. Like you said, Jamie said, that second jump, just getting on the rim. That was my first time seeing him. And, everybody keeps telling me how good he was. So, me, I've seen a lot of great guys, man. So for me, it takes a lot to impress me these days. A lot of times, a lot of people say kids, oh, that kid's good. I'm like, see, I've seen better. So, but Julian Phillips is a kid, definitely, man, that I don't know what school he's interested in, where he's going. Like one of those guys, like Jamie said, it ends up being a first round pick sooner rather than later. So that's what he looks like to me.
Yeah.
I know we spoke on, and I wanted to pick you guys' brains about some of these top AAU teams we saw. Team Curry mentioned they're making waves really fast. Interesting tidbit, I didn't realize till the other day, Caleb Foster led Geico in scoring this year.
Yeah. No, Caleb, did you watch any of those games? Caleb Foster was all out of his mind.
He's taking another step.
Caleb Foster was out of his mind. I wish Caleb Foster would move back to North Carolina so we can have a real conversation.
That's when
so we can finally have that real talk.
The talk that me and you, the talk that we have,
real talk,
the private talk that we have. Yes,
I feel like I know what that discussion was.
That's the only conversation to have, honestly.
Caleb Foster's unreal. I mean, the way that he commands the game, his shooting ability, his facilitation, he's got the size, he's got the poise, the demeanor. He's not afraid of anything. I mean, he's the real deal, man.
I gotta say this, man. And people might kill me for this. Obviously, they'll go play different places at the next level just because how things like that typically work. I can't say that they wouldn't play well together, though. I truly believe they would play really well together.
Well, I'll tell you, superstars tend to find a way.
Exactly.
It's like a superstar pounds the air out of the ball until he's got another dude beside him that he can trust. And then all of a sudden, wow, that ball's moving a little bit.
Exactly. So, again, just throwing it in the atmosphere. So if it happens, y'all heard it here first, but
where do you want him to go play at, Rod?
I'll let them play in Kentucky somewhere where they're gonna be free, have freedom. I need those two to have freedom.
Let them off the leash.
Yeah, I don't need them. I don't need them a lot of structure. I'm gonna be honest with you.
No, I feel that.
Get him one rim running big.
Yes.
Get him Brandon Williams or Brandon Gardner or something, just a 6'7" dude that just goes to the top of the world and gets it, dunks it from the ceiling.
Hey, speaking of, man, they might have to get Brandon White, Team United, out there with him, man. I know he's been blowing up too, and I've seen both you guys talking about him as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Brandon just reclassed to 23, man. He's a super young kid. You know, so it'll just help in his development. He's one who everybody, I don't know if everybody, people knew about a little bit when he was at North Rowan. And then he just kind of blew up toward the end, like from January on at North Rowan. Just started putting up gaudy numbers, and then that carried that over into the AAU season this past year, and then all of a sudden started making a huge name for him. And then he's still growing and everything too. Now, you know, he's legit 6'10" now. He's always been an excellent shot blocker, but now the game's slowing down a little bit for him. You know, you can tell that you just can't. You can tell that he can tell that he can't just get by with his size. He's got to, you know, work and fine tune. And he's over there with Antonio Lowe at Winston-Salem Christian, who's developed pros in the past. He's got Jake Honeycutt over there, who I'm hearing is one of the better like assistant coaches that's out there, just working kids out and developing and growing, and just an unbelievable guy for the kids and everything too. So he's in great hands with both Jake and Lowe. I can't wait to see because you know. He's one of those guys where he has the tools. It's just he's got to put it all together.
Right.
And now he's in situations that he's able to put it together. Going back to 23, he's got time now a little bit. So I just can't wait to see what that end result looks like, because there's a chance it could be something pretty interesting.
I agree. No, I definitely agree. Brandon, like you said, Brandon's another one of those really good kids that you really want to root for. Like Jamie said, him going to 23 does give him an additional time to improve and sure some things up for him. So it'd be interesting to see how his recruitment ends up. You know, I know he just got that Providence offer. You know, I think some more ACC schools will jump in there at some point. But that 23 class is shaping up to be another special class. So, and with guys like Brandon White and Silas Demery Jr. entering the class, and there'll be more probably, but just those two alone just does cause a ripple effect within the class. So, you know. So.
Yeah. Silas Demery Jr. coming off a state title, absolute breakout year at Millbrook. Is there any word on where's he going to be attending high school? And also in that 2023 class, where does he stack up?
Don't know where he's going to high school at. I don't think they know, to be honest with you. If me, from what I'm seeing, he can't be no lower than 5 in that class. That's just from what I've seen with the guys who are in that range. I think he's no lower than 5. That's just me.
Also, 2023 class, we got Trey Green. I know that's one guy that I wanted to touch on as well. Is this guy going to be on the national radar? You guys think after this summer, is he a top 100 kid?
He for me has a lot of similarities to what Jalen Cone kind of did a couple years ago, in the fact that he's a smaller guy, but he's got an unbelievable way. There's another guy out east that I know Rod's incredibly familiar with, in Jordan Vick, that's kind of along the same kind of the same line. You know, they're probably 5'10", but they're athletic. They're kind of dogs, but they have unbelievable footwork, quickness, and ability to get to their spots. So it kind of negates, you know, their slight frames or whatever. And they can all shoot the ball incredibly well, and they're not afraid of the spotlight. But no, Trey Green is going to be insanely hard on the national ranking side of things. Speaking on that from the rival side and everything, he's going to be a really, really hard one to kind of peg down with the rankings, because you can have a whole slew of things going against him over on this side, but then also he has the eye test. It's like, what does he do in the big matchups? It's like he can play every single time. You know, so he's going to be a really hard one. I have a feeling that he's going to have some people that really love him. He's going to have some people that really don't care for him on that side. Obviously, I've seen him be great. I've known Trey since he was little. I love him and all that type of stuff too. That's a kid to go to war with. But I can foresee it looking in the future. That's going to be that's going to be an interesting conversation to see how it plays out. And it could be one of those things too, where you have one entity that ranks them like 52, and you have another entity that doesn't even have them ranked in 150, and you have another entity that has them ranked, you know, like 120. Like it could really be that variance of a thing with him.
Mm-hmm. I agree. For me, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Rod. Go ahead.
No, I say with Trey, I think what people see with Trey, they see two different Treys sometimes. You know, with Lake Norman this year, you saw him a lot of times with that team, he had to shoulder more of a scoring load. So, people saw him take shots that you probably didn't want to see your point guard taking at times. But that was out of necessity and at times with Lake Norman. Now, when you're watching with this team, Charlotte team, who's completely loaded with talent across the board.
I know you guys got a good look at them.
They're so good. They're really good. They're really good. So now you see Trey fall back into his natural habitat, being more of a facilitator, a defender, kind of what you saw last summer out of Trey. And with the big moments like the team load at VA, you see him step up and score. But we saw Trey this last weekend literally get paint touches, find people, defend. That's the Trey Green that everybody falls in love with. Them. But sometimes with young guys, young guards, they had that mindset, they want to score. So I think with him, it's just finding that balance for Trey. And honestly, that's something me and Trey actually had a conversation about not too long ago. And he understood it. And it wasn't me coming down on him, because if I didn't think he was good, he is what he is. But you know what I mean? When you want to see a kid like whose talented as Trey reaches potential, I feel like just tweaking a few things for him. Now, like Jamie said, that gets him in that conversation where is he top 50, 60, 70? Where is he?
Yeah. So. No, yeah, Trey's one of those guys, and it's one of those interesting things too, because I witnessed it this past weekend with the Knight Riders with Jay-Z and Gortman. Trey can be in a similar situation where Jay-Z and Gortman's kind of a guy. He's the only guy on his team who can create and touch the paint, but he's also the best shooter on his team. Right. So just like Rob was saying, that's a tough balance, and a lot of times Trey Green can kind of be that same thing where you are the best shooter on the team, you're the only person that's over 40% on the team, but you're also the only guy who can create for others as well. And that's really that's a tough line to straddle. When it comes to that, but Trey can do Trey can be a 5'10" point guard or shooting guard. I mean that is a real thing for him, because he shoots so well, he gets a shot off so well, and he 3 dribbles to a spot and makes a play. And that's just atypical, and a lot of times people just don't like atypical when it comes to projecting and looking and all that type of stuff too. But I'm fascinated with where it goes with him for these next couple of years.
Man, I think he really showed a lot, him and Brandon White. I know we were talking about him before making that move. But, just talking to Coach Lowe at Norfolk O&M, Brandon was the biggest kid in his conference. He was dominating. Trey Green, had a great season advance with Jalen Curry and those guys. But you make that move to play a national schedule. What are some of the adjustments these guys have to go through, even from a confidence perspective?
Athleticism and length. You have to learn. It's kind of like the same thing of learning from the high school to college and college to the pros. Mm-hmm. Is if you're a big fish in a small pond, not everybody's your size, but once you get against guys that are your size and as athletic as you are, what are you doing night in and night out to differentiate yourself? And I think that's the biggest kind of adjustment. Playing on that national schedule, you don't have a night off. You don't have you don't have one guy on the other team or a couple guys that you can pick on, like, oh man, I need to take a couple possessions. I'm gonna go guard this other dude over here, and whatever. It's like the other team's all good and they're all athletic and they're all long and big. So now what are you going to do to counter that? I think that's the kind of the biggest adjustment, especially for a 15-year-old, 16-year-old, to make in the basketball court. So that's what I think it is.
No, I think definitely a great point what Jamie just made. I think it kind of separates the real from the fake. We see guys at these smaller schools and stuff sometimes putting up these big numbers, and you're just like, can he do it on a bigger platform? So I think for those guys, that's probably one of the bigger adjustments, going from being the guy to a guy on the team. Can you adjust? Because let's face it, when you go to college, like a lot of these kids putting these crazy numbers, like they gotta understand when you go to college, they're not gonna let you shoot and roam and do everything that you want to. So it's about learning how to fit in within a system and playing your role, playing your part. Because once you get past high school, it's a role. Everything you're doing, you're playing a role. So.
Absolutely. And also, before we let you guys go, I wanted to touch on one more guy that's really been doing his thing. Just got the big Texas A&M offer, Wesley Tubbs, a guy that we've seen grow up really, man, since 7th, 8th grade. And he's always been a name since he was young, but I feel like that switch is starting to click for him.
Absolutely. I said that actually. I always say the same thing. I said that switch is flipped for Tubbs. Just compete, the way he competes on both ends of the court. He doesn't back down for anybody. Like it's funny because me and Tubbs had a conversation last week off a video. He played the Knight Riders last week in Georgia, and everything that Dillingham does is is filmed now. So, you know, when people see something about Robert Dillingham, like they automatically assume that it went one way. Right. But everybody, I mean, Tubbs played really well that game as well too. And I told him, I was just say, you know, what you need to focus on is just stop worrying about what people see on the video. Just put your head down, work, and let the results show. A week later, you get Wake Forest and Texas A&M. That's, for me, that's what is more important about. I could care less about you watching a video getting 100,000 clicks or something where, you know, it might not be exactly what it is. So, you know, you can't worry about things like that. And it's easier to hear for kids and done now in the social media era that they feel like, you know, they see stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's all about just getting that work, man. That's all it's about.
I love
as somebody who films, I like it when they look in the camera and say something to me. I want 100,000 clicks.
No, that's always good. That's definitely always good. No. You know, hey, but that can't be your only focus. They can get the clicks and still put some work in too. That's funny.
Most definitely, man. I'm excited. Jamie, did you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, no, a great kid, great family, man. I love his dad to death too. Always good for a good 10, 15-minute conversation whenever I see him out. He's always out there just supporting his kid. And Wesley, man, I'll tell you, his energy is unmatched every time he steps on the floor. You'll hear one, he had that high pitch, yeah! and you'll hear it all the way across the gym, man. He just unmatched energy. You know, I couldn't be more excited for the kid.
Most definitely, like you said, plays hard every possession. Has been playing like that for years. So definitely glad to see, man. We knew the skill set was there. He's continuing to grow on that wing. So I'm excited, man. I hope Wake pulls him in. That's just me being a homer and Winston. But, you know, we'd love to see him here. They need all the wing scoring they can get, man. No shade.
Right.
But anyways, fellas, let them know where to find you at on social media so they can continue to follow your journey, especially all the hoop heads out there. And, you know, the girl dads too, man, because y'all make it look dope. I ain't ready for no kids yet, but y'all make it look dope.
It is, man. Nah, that's the biggest blessing I've had in my life is that little girl, man. She changed me for the better person and all that stuff too. So and still daily keeps me on my toes and all that stuff too. But yeah, no, it's an unbelievable thing. But yeah, find me out at Jamie Shaw 5 on Twitter, at Jamie_Shaw5 on Instagram. Podcast is Absolute Basketball Experience. You can iTunes, whatever. And then also the YouTube channel, Absolute Basketball with Jamie Shaw on YouTube as well. So make sure you check all them out.
Yep, absolutely. No, I mean, yeah, absolutely, man. Being a girl dad's probably one of the greatest feelings in the world. I'm actually having a little boy. My second, we're vice pregnant with our second child now. So,
man, congrats.
Yeah, appreciate that. Thank you. So, you know, I'll get my. Maybe I'll get my hooper here, you know what I mean? I don't think my daughter wants to hoop, but it's cool. It's cool, man. But now you can definitely find me on Twitter at Rod_Bridgers. Rod Bridgers, all one word, on Instagram. You can check us out. Our Hoopstate Network is our page on YouTube. The Hoopstate on Instagram as well too. So yeah, we kind of try to drop videos daily and stuff. Just kind of keep content going around the state as well too. So.
Most definitely, man. And once again, I appreciate you guys hopping on. That's a wrap for us. And for all the latest and the greatest, man, that subscribe button. This is Live with Brandon Blakney. You dig?